According to Statistics Canada, there's currently a 38% divorce rate in our country. That's high. And during times of stress, all facets of life typically become more challenging, and that can include your couple's relationship as well. With the current pandemic likely to continue for some time, there are going to be ongoing challenges for many couples. Hi everyone, I'm Trevor Sullivan from Sullivan Associates Clinical Psychology. Today I'm going to talk about how to help preserve your relationship during the COVID-19 pandemic. Before we get started, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. And if you're on YouTube, click the alert notification. That way, when we release more videos like this, you'll get notified. Relationships can be challenging at the best of times, and this certainly isn't the best of times. But the current pandemic has created busy households, more challenging ways of functioning in your daily life, as well as financial stress for many couples. And unfortunately, in times of stress, couples tend to pull apart instead of come together. So let's take a look at a 6-step plan to help preserve your couple's relationship. For my first step, I encourage you to be open to the idea that your partner could have a different way of dealing with challenging times than you do. For instance, I suspect that one of the challenges for many couples at this time is having different points of view, as well as different coping styles when dealing with the current pandemic. And to be fair, when you began dating your partner, you probably didn't think to ask, so by the way, if there was a super virus that swept across the world, how do you think you'd react? And if you did have the foresight to ask such a question, chances are good that how you thought you'd react didn't line up perfectly with how you ended up reacting. I also suspect that many people were a bit surprised by their partner's reaction to the pandemic as well. In a 2016 study by Dr. Deborah Carr and colleagues, they found that men and women use different methods to deal with negative events. With men, it was found that they didn't like to express negative emotions and tend to feel frustrated when trying to give or receive emotional support. And I can literally see my mother watching this video with my father, looking over him and saying, no surprises there, hon. And with women in this study, there was a tendency to feel more sadness and worry, as well as a desire to express those emotions. They also found that women typically prefer to talk through issues and offer support, as well as receive support. And at this point, I can see my father staring back at my mother and saying, yep, no surprises at all, dear. So of course, this isn't a blanket statement for all men and women, but it's an important pattern to be aware of in a relationship, regardless of gender. And if this is a familiar pattern for you and your partner, you're probably wondering, well, what do we do about it? For those of you who are uncomfortable talking about emotions and find it frustrating, you're probably thinking it'd be a great idea, just avoid talking about them altogether, but that's only going to create distance in the relationship. Instead, I suggest setting aside 5 to 10 minutes of uninterrupted time each day where emotions can be discussed, if needed. I suggest keeping it relatively short to start, so the partner who's uncomfortable with discussing emotions knows that it's time limited and can put forth their best effort to listen out their partner's feeling and hopefully talk about how they're feeling as well. With some consistent practice, talking about emotions will become more comfortable over time. And even though talking about feelings might be uncomfortable for some, receiving emotional support is important for both partners in a successful relationship. In a 2018 study by Dr. Jennifer Lorenzo and colleagues, they found that partners who receive more empathy, concern, acceptance, experience more positive emotions towards their partner, and have higher relationship satisfaction. And in this study, the researchers found that men in particular can improve their relationship by giving women more emotional support. They also found that men have a tendency to give advice by providing solutions, whereas women typically prefer emotional support, such as empathy. And once again, it's not a blanket statement for all men and women, but generally speaking, when communicating with your partner, it's wise to focus on providing emotional support by doing things such as listening and showing concern and acceptance before providing solutions. And even then, it's a good idea to ask your partner if they want to hear your solutions, no matter how brilliant they might be. So now we've established how important emotional support can be, let's take a look at the importance of listening. In a 2015 study by Dr. Jennifer Priam and Dr. Denise Solomon, they found that listening from the heart was an important factor in improving the quality of a relationship. So you might be wondering, what does listening from the heart mean? Essentially, it means being in the present moment and focusing on engaging positively with your partner. And we're going to look at a few simple guidelines to help you do just that. First, it's important to have a welcoming posture that shows you're engaged. This would typically involve sitting up straight and possibly leaning in a little bit to show interest. If you're slumped over or leaning back casually with your fingers folded behind your head, your partner might perceive that as being disinterested. Second, it's important to make eye contact with your partner to help show interest and create engagement. And of course, you'll definitely want to avoid distractions such as sneaking glances at your phone or interrupting your partner so you can respond to a text. Third, helps to paraphrase or summarize what your partner's saying periodically. This shows that you've been paying attention to what they're saying and also that you want to make sure you understand how they're feeling. For my fourth step, I encourage you to make an effort to accept and validate your partner's feelings. In a 2005 study by Dr. Harry Weger, he found that accepting and validating your partner's feelings were two critical skills for improving the quality of a relationship, especially during times of conflict. And if you're wondering what acceptance and validating mean, acceptance involves being open to accepting how your partner's feeling without judging them. Essentially, you want to view their feelings as, well, just that. They're feelings. And there's no right or wrong about how they feel. And validating means to accept someone's thoughts and feelings as being understandable. So even if you don't feel the same way, it's important to let them know that whatever they happen to be feeling makes sense. By simply following these steps and helping your partner to feel heard, accepted, understood, can go a long way to help improve or maintain the quality of your relationship. But I've still got two more steps that I think you'll find helpful. For my fifth step, I encourage you to show compassion when your partner's struggling with a difficult issue or is hurting emotionally. In a 2016 study by Dr. Loren Winchewski and colleagues, they found that understanding your partner's feelings was helpful, but it's incomplete unless you communicate concern, which is done by showing empathy or compassion. And when you think about it, that makes sense. If you convey to your partner, you should understand how they feel by saying something like, "Yeah, sounds like your day was terrible, but I can see why you're miserable." It's clear there's a little something missing here. The emotional support expressed in this conversation would be more complete if there was concern communicated by saying something like, "Sounds like a rough day. Are you feeling okay? That situation must have been difficult. I'm sorry I had to go through that today. I can see you're upset. How'd you like to come and sit with me for a while?" Essentially, anything you can say or do that communicates genuine concern will be helpful. And for my sixth and final step, if you're the partner who is more uncomfortable talking about emotions, I encourage you to take the initiative, at least periodically, to ask how your partner's feeling. In a 2018 study by Dr. Christina Koros and Dr. Loren Papp, they found that simply asking, "How are you feeling?" as well as working on empathic accuracy can help to improve the quality of your relationship. So anyone uncomfortable with discussing emotions, it'd be wise to make a habit of just genuinely asking your partner, "How are you feeling?" or some variation of that question. This question shows initiative and demonstrates interest in how your partner is feeling. Once you've done that, remember to follow up by expressing empathy for how they're feeling in the situation. And if you're uncertain how they're feeling, just be willing to ask. This will help with empathic accuracy, so you know you've got it right, and your partner can come away from the conversation feeling loved and cared for. So to provide a quick recap, first, it's important to be open to the idea that your partner can have a different way of dealing with challenging times than you do. It doesn't make their way of dealing with difficult times wrong, it's just different. Second, it's important to prioritize time to talk about how you feel with your partner. Keep it relatively short to start if you or your partner is uncomfortable with discussing emotions, but focus on being engaged and accepting how your partner feels. And avoid the temptation to skip this step and go straight to offering solutions. For my third step, strive to be a good listener. Use active listening skills, such as having a welcoming posture, making good eye contact, and summarizing what your partner's saying periodically to show you're interested in what they're saying. Fourth, accept and validate how your partner feels. How someone feels isn't right or wrong, so it's important to accept those feelings without personalizing them. It's also important to let your partner know that however they feel is perfectly understandable. For my fifth step, remember to show compassion for your partner's feelings. Understanding how someone feels is important, but it's incomplete if you don't make an effort to exhibit empathy or compassion towards your partner. And for my sixth and final step, make an effort to initiate conversation about sharing emotions if you're the partner who is less comfortable talking about feelings. Showing initiative will help your partner see that their feelings are important to you. And hopefully your willingness to show initiative will help to prevent your partner from feeling that they're the one that always has to bring up the potentially uncomfortable topic of discussing feelings. So I hope you found these steps helpful. If you did, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel by clicking the subscribe button below. If you're already a subscriber, please feel free to like and share this video. And if you're experiencing challenges implementing these steps, please contact us at Sullivan Associates Clinical Psychology. So now it's your turn. What strategies are you going to try? Are you ready to set aside time to share your feelings with your partner? Are you going to focus on showing compassion? Or do you have a different strategy to support your partner emotionally? Please let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching.